Welcome to the Good Ride, where it's not about my pride, it's just about how this new Jones Frontier rides. New for 2026 with a complete overhaul. It looks like it has a little more camber, a different shape, stance, location is much narrower. It's got a little taper. It's a little more directional. It's a very easy riding board, but the flex is massively softer. It's more on the level of a park to a jib board as opposed to the medium stiff flex the old Frontier had. So it could be a deal breaker for anybody who wants a more traditional feeling free ride board. This really sits more in the beginner intermediate range now, or for riders who just love a really soft tapered directional flex. I rode this in a wide variety of conditions, everything from some good groomers to some thick, soft, wet, uneven snow on top of hard, nasty snow underneath, some good powder, and then some really good powder. I rode this primarily with my Union Force and my Nitro Team TLSs, but I did get the Jones Mercury phase on these as well. I tested this against a wide variety of all mountain bordering on free ride boards, like the Yes All In, the Yes Standard, a lot of Never Summer boards, including the new Prototype 3, and many other boards. You can see all those reviews on Patreon. And this is an honest, objective review for you, the consumer, with zero brand oversight from Jones, no money exchanged hands to do this review. And I can do that thanks to support from readers like yourself, as well as support from our sponsor, Blower Board Shop, who's been selling snowboards forever. They're recently making a push to create a much larger online presence, and they can compete with the big brands online in terms of shipping, customer support, and even price matching. So if you want to support honest, objective content like you see here, buy through our links to Blower Board Shop. It's greatly appreciated, and it helps both of us out tremendously. When it comes to sizing, the old 59 Frontier fit me super well. I never wanted to size down, and I didn't want to size up. It felt like my perfect size. This new 159 just doesn't seem to fit me as well as the old 59. Feels a little smaller. It makes me 162 curious, and I wouldn't mind trying that out. But overall, it's a pretty good fit. Now, when it comes to the shape, this now is tapered and directional. Before it used to be directional, now it has 5 millimeters of taper in the tail versus the nose. You don't really feel that on groomers, but you get a little bit of that feeling in powder. It feels a little more turny, a little more floaty than it used to before. Set back on side cut, 20 millimeters back. And when you do the comparison, set back on side cut versus set back on board, you're looking at 2 inches back from center of board on reference at a 22-inch stance width, not 23.5 or whatever the hell it was before, a taint tearing ultra wide stance width. You now have a normal stance width of 22 inches, which is what a lot of people ride. So that is great. Then if you choose to set it all the way back on a powder day to get more easy directional float, or you just like to ride really set back, get a touch more of a surfy feel, you're looking at 3.125 inches back from center of board at a 22.75 inch stance width, which is better than it used to be. I think it was 2.875 back from center of board at about the same stance width set all the way back. So a little bit of improvement there. Then you look at the camber profile, which seems to be a little more camber towards the tail and about the same rocker in the nose. So it does feel maybe a touch more catchy in the tail, but overall it still has a very forgiving feel to it, especially with this much softer flex. And I think it'll work for a rider of any ability level, especially those beginners who want an easy turning, forgiving board with a lot of stability under feet for one footing off the chair, flat basing down a long flat cat track, and people who primarily skid their turns this will be a pretty forgiving ride for that. Although I think the old Frontier skidded a turn a little easier, it just didn't initiate a turn as easy because of the stiffer flex. But it's a very consistent feel in all conditions, from hard snow all the way up to powder. And there seems to be a little bit of spoon nose going on here and maybe a touch in the tail, but it seems to stop well before the cambered area. You really only feel that in powder and really soft snow. So I felt none of that washiness like you get with some Jones 3D Tech boards. When it comes to edge, it seems to be a little bit better. It really gripped well on hard snow days, and I found that this outgripped some boards with much more disruption in the side cut. Let's talk Frontier Flex here. This flex is a little softer than it's going to be in production. It's a little too soft for me. It feels almost like a park board. There's an easy flex between the feet. It's a little stiffer in the tail, and the nose is actually stiffer than between the feet, but only by a little. And overall, this is a very poppy, dynamic flex, and it's a huge improvement over the previous Frontier. That board was much stiffer and much damper, but it had a lot less pop. So you're trading speed for liveliness. And speaking of, this just ollied so well. It was so easy. It felt like it had more camber than it did. If they stiffen this up, it'll be perfect. Even with the tail being a good bit stiffer than the rest of the flex of the board, it was easy to tail butter, easy to nose butter, very easy to play around. And when it comes to park riding, this is actually really good park board because this doesn't have anything close to a free ride or all mountain flex. This is just buttery soft. So you could jib with this if you wanted to. This is going to grip really well going up a pipe wall, and you could get into half pipe with this if you want. It's not a bad board for the half pipe, actually. And for jumps, small to medium small sized kickers will be great with this. But if you want to go big, I just don't think it has the flex to hold those kind of landings. And while this is very bucky and bouncy, it's not a cranky board. It can handle hard, uneven snow, that micro bumpy kind of snow on a hard spring morning very well. Soft, uneven snow, it bucks and bounces you around a lot, but it's predictable and it doesn't feel nasty or cranky. You just have to slow down and manage it a little better. If you're okay with that, you might really like this as an all-day ride. And when it comes to turning and carving, this is such a soft flex between the feet, so it allows a very easy twist, and it's a very quick board edge to edge. When you get it on edge and you really engage into a turn, it has definitely a more turny experience, but it can do down the line turns without fighting you and wanting to turn. Where I felt it really shined was across the groomer carves. It could even handle a circle carve okay. And the spring out of the turn is excellent on this, but that softer flex really limits this board's ability to really light up a medium to high speed carve. This is more slow to medium slow speed turns. That's where this really shines. I do wish it had a stiffer flex to get a little bit more into that medium fast speed carve. So it's not as much fun for advanced expert riders to carve as it used to be, even though it has more camber. Going fast with this just really isn't that great of an idea. It can handle a straight line okay side cut wise, but chatter wise, it's just too soft of a flex and the board starts to fall apart at medium to high speeds. The base glide is good. It's clear. Love the old black base. That's just easier to repair. But if you have clear PTEX and a PTEX gun, this can be repaired very well. It's not amazing glide, but it's good for this price point. This has very good directional float for a board that kind of sits on that border between freeride and all mountain. It's not the best of the best, and I would love setback inserts on this like you see with the flagship and the Stratos to really give that beginner intermediate rider a much easier time in powder, but it's still pretty good. And it had a very fun turning experience in powder, just like it does on groomers. So overall, I really love So many things they did with the new Frontier. I love the new, more directional tapered shape. I love that the reference stance is much narrower. I love this grip. I love this new 3D tech that never feels washy even in hard snow. I love the pop out of this. It's exceptional. But this flex is so soft. It's almost like having a jib board. So that could be the deal breaker for many. So in the past, I would say this was a great beginner intermediate board that you could progress with all the way up to the advanced to expert level, and it would handle you throughout that range. Now with this super soft flex that is unlike almost any other freeride board out there, and not even like most all mountain boards, this is not for everybody anymore. It's more for beginner intermediates or advanced expert riders that really like a chill, easy flexing, super poppy ride that doesn't take a lot of effort to engage. Yeah, that could work for you, but it's no longer that bridge between the Jones directional twins, like the Mountain Twin Pro, Rally Cat, Aviator 2.0, and then the more directional tapered boards like the Flagship, the Stratos. It used to be that perfect bridge in the middle that would work for a wide variety of ability levels. It just doesn't do that anymore. It's just going to be harder to recommend than it used to be because of that flex.